everybody and welcome back to my channel. So today we have quite an interesting YouTube video for you. Excuse me. Let's have some iced tea. So today, and I haven't seen many other people do this, I've seen I don't know, like 2 or 3 other people do this kind of video in my YouTube career. That's not to say they aren't out there, but I haven't personally seen very many. So today I thought that I would discuss my top tips for approaching makeup counters. Now, I have been shopping at makeup counters for many years and I have always found it quite a pleasant experience, but I've always kind of been prepared to follow the tips that I'm going to go through with you today. So I have kind of split this into some notes on my phone, and so we're going to start with some general points. How to attract someone's attention if you are not being helped. Rules for colour matching, particularly if you are going to find a foundation or concealer. And if you know what you want and you don't need anything else. And then if you're just kind of browsing and want to be left alone. So my first general point is to always be polite. I have had experiences where I have had quite pushy salespeople. I've had a couple of experiences that I wouldn't say were really bad ones, but the girl was just like not on it that day and not particularly pleasant or not particularly helpful. And I would say the first kind of thing is be confident and be polite, because if they've got a bit of an attitude and you give them a bit of an attitude back because you're like, why are you talking to me like this? It's kind of not worth it unless someone is like outright really rude to you, in which case of course you can make a complaint to the manager or something like that. It's just not worth it because it kind of just feeds into that attitude and then you end up having a horrible experience. In my experience, it's always best to kind of smile, be polite, just carry on being your nice, lovely self. The second point that I would like to make, and I'm not saying that I think this is okay, but I am aware of the fact that this is generally just how it is, especially if you look at other people's experience. Particularly MAC is quite a bad one for it, and I certainly have found this in a couple of experiences that I have had myself. But I would say make sure you look presentable and that you are wearing makeup. No one has to wear makeup, you shouldn't have to wear makeup, and you don't. But I find that if you are approaching a makeup counter with a face on rather than not, you are A, more likely to get someone's attention, B, you look like you're already interested in makeup, and people just seem to gravitate towards you if you have a full face on versus not. And maybe part of that is because if you're already wearing it, it looks like you are more inclined to purchase something. And most people that work on makeup counters do get some form of commission or have a certain amount of sales to hit, like a target for the month. And so if you look like you're presentable and you have an interest in makeup and you're more likely to spend money, then you're probably going to get a better experience. As I said, this is not something I think is okay, and it shouldn't really matter because a customer is a customer. But in my experience and a lot of people's other experiences, that's kind of just how it is. So I feel like not only does a face on make me feel more confident in myself because I wear makeup for me and I enjoy it, but I also find that especially if I'm approaching a makeup counter, I do often get a better response. Next thing we're going to talk about is how to attract attention. Now, I feel like in somewhere like a MAC store or like a full makeup store, MAC particularly is one of those ones where it's really hit and miss. It's often very, very busy. It's often really hard to get someone's attention, and it's often like the staff are run off their feet. So we're just going to go with like a general makeup counter. So my first tip would be to ask. If you feel confident enough and you know what you're looking for, or you want someone to sit and help you, then go up to someone and politely ask, hey, I'm kind of looking to do this today, would you mind helping me out? Because they know the products, they should be really happy to help you. If you're not confident in going up and actually asking someone for help directly, then making eye contact or kind of playing around with the products, swatching things, picking up things seems to really get their attention because they're like, oh, someone's really interested, I'll offer them some help. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is if you know what you want. We have all been there where we've known what we want, we've gone up to someone or they've come over to us and they're helping us, and I, for one, have definitely been pushed into buying products that, okay, I was happy with and I still use, and I like makeup anyway, so great, but that I didn't need, I didn't plan on spending that amount of money on, and I really kind of wished I hadn't afterwards. And I don't know what your rules are or where you're living, but in the UK, makeup is actually non-returnable. I know in the US you have a much better policy if you've tried something and you don't like it, because you tend to not have testers, I believe, especially in the drugstore. In the UK here, makeup is generally non-refundable, which means that if you spent that money, you either have to gift it to someone, if you don't like it, you're stuck with it, or it ends up sitting in a drawer. So the first thing that I would say is to go in with a list. If I know that I am looking at specific products, or I have something coming up where I want a particular kind of shade of lipstick, or I want a particular shade of blush or something like that, and I know where I want to get it from and I know what colour I want, I will make a list of the shades and what line it's in and all that kind of stuff, and I will bring that list to the counter so that I cannot be distracted from what I want to buy. I find that just being direct and asking for help, or letting someone approach you and going, I actually know what I'm looking for today, thank you very much, I actually made you a list. Not only is that helpful because they don't have to kind of spend more time on you, they know that you're going to buy something, you know exactly what you want, and that's kind of the end of it. I find, especially in MAC, I've had much better experiences doing that, because I feel like that's such a busy kind of store, particularly the London ones that I shop in. It's always chaotic, and so them coming over to you and going, hey, how can we help you today? But I'm like, here's my list, do you have these? Can you grab them for me? Done. It's easy, you know what you're looking for, they know exactly what they're looking for, and you're sorted. I find that that is the best way not to be pushed into anything, and it's all cool. My second point is to, following on from that, if you've got in with your list and they've got it, that's great. If they haven't got certain things in the shade you want, and the things that they're offering you as an alternative are still not right and you don't feel like you want them, don't be pressured into buying something that is not right for you. If you had your heart set on this particular shade and they don't have it in stock, and you've got time to, you know, check another counter and see if they've got it somewhere else in a different area, or order it online for yourself, don't be afraid to do that. You can absolutely make it clear that, look, this is really what I have my heart set on, I'm really not interested in buying anything else, thank you very much for your help, but I don't want that one. Do you know what I mean? There is absolutely nothing wrong with you doing that as long as you're really polite with it. Don't feel really guilty or like you have to purchase something just because someone spent a nice amount of time with you and have been really helpful. You are under no obligation whatsoever to purchase anything. And that also leads into the point that I first made, especially if you're in a country where makeup or any kind of cosmetic products are non-refundable, then you really don't want to be going home with something that you don't actually want. The next thing that I would say is also, don't be afraid to ask for samples. If you are going in for a foundation, concealer, or some kind of skincare, you are absolutely within your right to ask for a sample. Say someone's helped you, you're deciding between two colours, you're just not sure whether you want to spend the £30–40, because often foundations are really expensive, especially if you were going for kind of more high-end products, which tend to be these makeup counters. It's a big investment, and you don't want to be unsure of something. So I find asking for a little sample, which are free, they shouldn't charge you for them, and you are perfectly within your right to ask for one. You can try it at home, see what it looks like in daylight, make sure it suits your skin, and if you're happy with that then absolutely come back in and purchase it. But don't feel like just because they've been really helpful and you think it looks okay, if you're just not sure, then ask if you can take away a little sample pot with you and come back if you enjoy the product. If you've just come in, you're, you know, waiting for a friend, you're just browsing, you have no intention of buying anything, but maybe you've seen some stuff online, you just wanted to check out the new products and you want to just browse and be left alone, then just, again, be polite, make that really clear. If someone comes over to you, then just be like, I'm okay, thank you. If I need you, then I will definitely come and ask for some help, thank you very much. You know, sometimes people can be really pushy, and I've had experiences where I'm just browsing, I'm just having a look, I'm swatching some things, I'm thinking about maybe what I want to put on my birthday list, but I'm definitely not going to spend any money that day. then making it really clear that you're just having a browse, or your birthday's coming up, or it's not for you, and you don't have any money right now, so you won't be sick. That's perfectly fine. You're entitled to just have a play, have a browse around, just be really assertive, be really confident, but be really polite and just go, look, thanks so much for checking in, but if I need your help, I'll definitely come find you. I'm just having a browse, thank you very much. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Don't feel like you then have to move away because they're kind of hovering, watching. You're fine to just have a look, have a browse. Just explain that. Most people will be fine, it's not a big deal. The last thing that I wanted to talk to you about was if you are specifically going in for colour matching services or foundation / concealer services. If you already wear foundation and you have one that you like, you enjoy, and you know matches you, then I would say, again, perhaps bring in a list of a couple of the ones that you've maybe researched online that you want to have a look at. Also, try and bring in a foundation that matches you that you really enjoy wearing. I find that not only is that a really good colour reference for the person trying to help you and match your colour, but also it gives the person an idea who should be an expert on their product line of what kind of foundation that you really like and are after, and therefore it will just give them a little bit of extra information, as well as kind of, you know, you explaining what your skin type is, what kind of finish you like, that kind of stuff. If they can see a foundation and they're into makeup, which they probably are because they work on a makeup counter, then most people have a rough idea or can have a look at the bottle and go, oh, we have a product similar to that you might enjoy as well. Also, I find particularly for the colour matching, that's a really good idea to do. And if I'm going in, then I will tend to bring in something similar so that A, it's a reference for me to check it because I'm really particular, but also it's kind of helpful to whoever's serving you as well. My next point would be to make sure that the person that's colour matching you is swatching several different colours. There's a lot of debate about where to swatch. I think swatching on your hand is not particularly helpful because obviously your body colour can often be quite a different colour to your face. Whether you are going to be fake tanning or you do that regularly, or you are paler on your face than you are on your chest and things, get them to swatch along the jawline. I would say also kind of swatch on your chest area. My chest and my neck tends to be a little bit paler than my actual face, and so therefore if I bought something that matched perfectly to my face, I'm gonna have to bronze up my neck and do all sorts of other things. So I tend to kind of place, when I'm colour matching myself, a few swatches along the jawline. I'll also often swatch on my chest just to see if I can kind of match up my body colour with my face colour, if that makes sense. Another top tip would be to, when they have swatched some stuff along the jawline or wherever you want them to swatch it and they feel like you've got a match, walk away from the counter with a mirror preferably, or use your phone or something. Like mirror would probably be better. A lot of counters will actually have like a handheld one that you can take with you, or even use like a compact from the counter or something like that if you don't have one with you by yourself. And I would say definitely go towards some natural light, whether that be a window or just walking out the front of the shop, that kind of thing, because what your makeup looks like under those kind of fluoro lights, it can look very, very different in daylight. And obviously when you're out and about and you think you've got a perfect colour match, you want to make sure that you do, because if you suddenly go outside and it looks really yellow or it looks really orange on the skin, or it really doesn't match the undertone, because I find that colour matching indoors is pretty accurate, but the tone can make a real difference when you walk out in daylight. I've kind of matched myself in store before and it kind of looks okay, like colour wise and depth of colour wise, but as soon as I've gone outside it looks really pink or it looks really orange. So my top tip would definitely be to kind of do some swatches, let it sink in for a minute or two, and then definitely walk your way over to somewhere that has a natural source of light for you to see what it's going to look like when you're outside in the sun. And my last tip would be to ask for a sample. If you are doing anything where it is kind of base makeup, skincare, you should be able to get a sample to test the product. I find, especially with things that go all over your face, so moisturisers, foundations, concealers, that kind of thing, where the colour match is really important and the finish is really important and how it wears on your skin or has an effect on your skin is really important, you should be provided with a sample for free if you ask for one. Most counters will offer you one to check if you want to do that before purchasing, but if they're really kind of trying to get that sale in, then they might not do, but you are absolutely within your right to ask for one. Normally they will give you a tiny little pot which will last maybe 3, 4, 5 days, so you can really give it a good test run, see how it looks, see how it wears on your skin as well, and see what it looks like on your skin when you're going about your daily life. And if you are happy with that, then you can definitely come back and purchase. Or what some places do is they will give you a sample pot and you can buy the foundation there and then as well. That's absolutely your choice, but what I would always try and do is use up the sample pot first before you kind of break into the big bottle of foundation. So I think that is everything that I wanted to cover today. I hope that you found this video quite interesting and quite helpful. I have seen so many people's story times about bad experience they've had with counters and all that kind of stuff, and I just thought that these might be some really helpful tips if you are maybe not very confident, a little bit shy, and maybe some things that you hadn't actually thought of before. As I said, like, a bit annoying that wearing makeup seems to get you a better service, but I personally feel like it does. I'm not saying that's okay, but that's certainly my experience. And if you look on a lot of the kind of counter story times or bad MAC counter experiences, then they seem to come from people that have gone in with not much makeup on that day or something, which I found quite an interesting kind of connection there. And thinking back to times where I've been wearing less makeup and approached counters and stuff, I feel like it does kind of, my positive or negative experiences have kind of coincided weirdly with how much makeup I'm wearing. So I do definitely think looking presentable, being really polite, being confident, knowing what you want or don't want are all really helpful things. And maybe you didn't think to bring in a list or bring in an old foundation that you enjoy wearing for colour matching purposes. As I said, colour matching wise, really important to make sure what it looks like outside as well. I definitely made that mistake when I was younger, and that just meant like I'd open the foundation, put it all over my face, gone outside and thought, oh my god, this doesn't actually match me. So don't be pressured, be perfectly confident, be happy within yourself, know what you're wanting, and you know, don't be afraid to leave empty-handed if it's not something that you're actually looking for. You're the customer, you know what you want, and don't feel like you have to buy something just because someone's been really helpful to you. I hope that these tips and tricks were really helpful. If I've left anything out, or you can think of any that you think I've missed and you think are really helpful to you, then please do leave them down below in the comments. If you can come up with any other video ideas that you want to see me cover that you don't think anyone else has, or just anything you want to hear from me, then do let me know and I will surely get around to filming that for you. If you've enjoyed this video, please do give it a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you are not already part of the Janes family. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, it's hannahjojanes, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, lots of love, bye!